Welcome to Learner's Planet, my dear students. Students, in the previous session we discussed about deficiency of carbohydrates and deficiency of proteins. So in this session we will continue with the deficiency of other major food groups, and that are deficiency of vitamins and deficiency of minerals. Right? So let's start with the deficiency of vitamins. Yes, students, as you know that vitamins are the natural substances that are found in plants and animals, and they are also known as essential nutrients for human beings, right? And as you know that this name vitamin has been obtained from vital amines, means they are not produced by our body, but we have to provide it to our body, right? So human body uses these substances to stay healthy, and it also supports many other substances, right? So our body needs vitamins to stay healthy, and it is not produced by the human body, so it is very much important to obtain it from the diet, right? So as you know that there are 13 essential elements, 13 essential vitamins, and each one has a special role to play in it. Like vitamins are essential for normal growth and even for development of a living organism. Like for example, we can take vitamin D, which is present in milk. It helps our bones stronger. And vitamin A in carrots helps us to see at night. Even vitamin C, which is present in oranges or citrus fruits, helps our body to heal if we get a cut or wound. And even B group vitamins in the green leafy vegetables helps our body to make protein and gives energy, right? So it is very much important for our body, and it is very much essential for our body, right? So if any of the vitamin is lacking in our body, then it can lead to any of the deficiency disorder, right? That is why it is termed as deficiency disorder, right? So let's start with the deficiency of the vitamins. First we will study about vitamin A. So the sources of vitamin A, that means the components of food from which we can get vitamin A, are green leafy vegetables, fruits, butter, egg yolk, carrots and fish, right? And the function of vitamin A is that it keeps our eyes, hair and skin in a proper and healthy condition. And if vitamin A is lacking in our diet, then the deficiency disease which can be caused is night blindness, means we cannot see. It is the problem of the eye, right? We cannot see, we will not be able to see, our vision will not be proper due to the lack of vitamin A in our body, right? And the symptoms which occurs due to the lack of vitamin A are dryness of eyes and improper eye vision. We will not be able to see properly, right? Let's move on to the next vitamin. Yes, vitamin B1. Yes, students, what is the other term given for vitamin B1? Yes, it is also called as thiamine, right? And the sources of vitamin B1 are eggs, whole grains and sprouts. As you know, students, very much useful and very much nutritious for our body, right? And the function of vitamin B1 is that it aids in digestion, that means it helps in digestion, and it also helps in the proper functioning of our nervous system, right? And if we lack vitamin B1 in our body, then the deficiency disease which can be caused is known as beriberi, right? And the symptoms of beriberi are inflammation of nerves and digestive problems, as the function of vitamin B1 is to help in digestion. And if it is lacking in our diet, it is lacking in our body, then it can lead to digestive problems and heart abnormalities, means heart disorders, right? So vitamin B1 is also very much essential for us. Let's move on to the next vitamin. Yes, vitamin B2. Sources, the rich sources of vitamin B2 are eggs, milk and green leafy vegetables. And the function of vitamin B2 is that it keeps our skin and mouth healthy. So if we lack vitamin B2 in our diet or in our body, then the deficiency disease which can be caused to our body are the skin disorders, right? There are various kinds of skin diseases. So the symptoms of the skin disorders includes irritation of eyes, skin and intestinal disorders, and even the inflammation of tongue. The color of the tongue changes and we are not able to taste properly, we are not able to eat properly, right? So vitamin B2 is also very much essential for our body. Let's move on to the next vitamin, students. Yes, vitamin B12. The rich source of vitamin B12 is meat, right? But don't worry if you are not able to eat meat or if you are a vegetarian. Then the alternative food which we can take is soya bean, right? Because it is also very much rich in protein. As meat is also rich in protein, the alternative food for the vegetarians are soya bean, right? So the function of vitamin B12 is formation of the red blood cells, right? As you know, students, that red blood cells are very much important, right? And the deficiency disease caused due to the lack of vitamin B12 in our body can cause anemia, right? So students, the symptoms of anemia are pale skin, then lack of stamina, lack of energy, lack of appetite, we do not feel hungry, and even frequent headaches takes place, right? So vitamin B12 is also very much essential for our body. So there are many B group vitamins, but we have discussed only 3 of them: vitamin B1, vitamin B2 and vitamin B12. Let's move on to the next group of vitamin. Yes, vitamin C. As you know, students, that the rich sources of vitamin C are the citrus fruits such as lime, orange, lemon, and even some of the vegetables like some of the fruits, other fruits like tomatoes and sprouts, right? As you know, students, that sprouts are very much nutritious, right? So the function of vitamin C is to help to resist infections caused by very harmful pathogens, and it keeps our teeth, gums and joints in a very proper and healthy condition. So if vitamin C is not present in our body or our body is lacking vitamin C, then the deficiency disease which can be caused due to the lack of vitamin C is scurvy, right? Scurvy, what is actually scurvy? The symptoms for this deficiency disease occurs are loosening of teeth, spongy and bleeding gums, increased susceptibility to diseases, means many other diseases can also take place. So that probability of increasing of number of diseases increases, and slow healing of wounds takes place. If you are injured, then your body will slowly heal your wound, means it will take place in a very slow manner, right? And the pain in the limbs can also be experienced for the person who is suffering from scurvy, right? So vitamin C is also very much essential for our body. In the same way, we will now see the another group of vitamin which is very much essential. Yes, vitamin D. Students, the rich sources of vitamin D are milk, fish and eggs, and even sunlight, right? Sunlight should be of morning hours, right? Not the whole day sunlight, right? So that morning hour sunlight is very much essential and very much good for us because it provides us with vitamin D. So the function of vitamin D is that it aids in the normal growth of bones in children. That is why you must have observed or you must have noticed that newborn baby are always kept in the presence of sunlight. That means they can get efficient sunlight for the growth of their bones, right? Because for children it is very much essential because the growth has to be taken place, right? So the deficiency disease which is caused due to the lack of vitamin D is known as rickets, right? And the symptoms of this deficiency disorder are weak bones, because vitamin D helps in the normal growth of bones, And if vitamin D is only not present, then what will happen? Obviously it will lead to the weak bones, right? So the development of weak bones takes place, joint and bone, other joint and bone deformities such as bow legs take place, the legs become curved, right? And pigeon chest, just like we see the chest of a pigeon, the same shape occurs in the human body also in the children. And softening of ribs takes place, and protruding abdomen. Protruding abdomen means the swelling of abdomen takes place, right? You can see the abdomen which is swelled in the human body, right? So vitamin D causes rickets. Lack of vitamin D in the body causes rickets. Let's move on to the next important vitamin, students. Yes, vitamin K. The sources of vitamin K are spinach, cabbage, or any other green leafy vegetables. So you can now think that green leafy vegetables are so very important for our diet, right? So the function of vitamin K is that it helps in clotting of blood, means it will clot the blood. Right, that means if we are suffering from any severe injury or wound, so it will clot, it will stop the flow of the blood very quickly if vitamin K is present in our body. But if it is not present in our body, then the deficiency disease which can occur due to the lack of vitamin K is hemorrhage, means excessive bleeding can take place when we are suffering from any severe injury, right? So the symptoms are that it affects the clotting of the blood, means the clotting of the blood will take place but in very slow manner if there is less vitamin K present in our body. But if there is no vitamin K present in our body, then obviously excessive bleeding can take place and loss of blood can take place from our body, right? So to stop the clotting, that means the clotting of the blood can take place when there is sufficient or the required amount of vitamin K in our body, right? So students, in this way vitamins are very much essential for our body, right? If any one or the other vitamin is lacking in our body, then many deficiency disease can take place, alright? So students, there are some other vitamins also which are very sensitive to heat and light. For example, vitamin C, which is easily destroyed during cooking. Therefore, vitamin C rich foods should be eaten in a raw condition, right? And if we will not consume it in raw condition, then deficiency of vitamin C will occur. And as you know that deficiency of vitamin C leads to scurvy. That means bleeding of gums will take place, then loosening of teeth and slow healing of wounds and pain in the limbs, etc. Right? So it is very much important for us, right? Students, you will be amazed to know that scurvy was common disease among sailors in ancient times, and due to lack of cure, several sailors used to die because of the scurvy during long voyages, right? In the 18th century, James Lind found that eating citrus fruits reduced this occurrence of scurvy in the sailors, and that is why they used to carry, after that the sailors used to carry citrus fruits with them so that they can get cure or they can prevent this deficiency disorder, right? So that they can get vitamin C, right amount of vitamin C in their body, right? So in and all, we saw that vitamins are very much important for our body, right? Now let's move on to the next category, that is next major food group whose deficiency can cause many diseases or disorders, right? So let's move on to the next topic, that is deficiency of minerals. Yes, as you know students, just like vitamins, minerals also help our body to grow, develop and stay healthy, right? And our body uses minerals to perform many different functions like building strong bones. Then some minerals are even used to maintain a normal heartbeat, right? So minerals are also such elements that form in the soil or originate in the soil. they cannot be created by any living being such as or any living organism such as plants and animals, right? So plants, animals and humans need minerals in order to be healthy, and that is why plants first absorb minerals from the soil as they originate in the soil only, and animals get their minerals from the plants or the animals they eat, and many of the minerals in the human diet come directly from plants such as fruits and vegetables or indirectly from animal sources, right? So you can think that minerals are also very much important for us, right? So let's discuss about each of the minerals, some of the minerals, right? So the first one is calcium. Yes, the rich sources of calcium are, as you know, it is milk and green leafy vegetables. And calcium is a mineral which is obtained from dairy products like milk, cheese, yogurt, and green leafy vegetables, as you know, like broccoli, right? So there are other fruits also which contain some amount of calcium, and even nuts like almonds and grains like oats also contain calcium. So there are many components of food which contains calcium. Out of them, milk is a rich source, and the function of calcium is that it strengthens our bones and teeth and also helps in clotting of blood in the same way like vitamin K, right? So deficiency disease which is caused due to the lack of calcium is osteoporosis in adults and rickets in children. These are the same disorders, that these are the bone deformity disorders, right? So these bone disorders have been given different name for adults and children. So the bone disorder occurring in children are called as rickets, and the bone disorder occurring in adults are termed as osteoporosis, right? And these disorders occur due to the lack of calcium in our body. And the symptoms of this deficiency disease are that brittle bones, we are able to see the brittle bones, excessive bleeding will occur because it helps in clotting of blood, and if it is not present in our body, then excessive bleeding can occur. Even stunted growth occurs, that it strengthens our bones and it helps in growth of the human body, and if there is no calcium, then obviously growth will not occur, right? And weak teeth and bones occur. So these are some of the symptoms which is caused due to the lack of calcium in our body. And always remember that children need 800 to 1300 milligrams per day, milligrams of calcium per day, right? Let's move on to the next mineral. Yes, phosphorus. The rich sources of phosphorus are cereals, pulses, also called as dal, and it is also present in milk. The function of phosphorus is the same as calcium. It also strengthens our bones and teeth, and if the deficiency disease occurs, that is due to lack of phosphorus, that is rickets in the children, in the same way as calcium. Right? So the symptoms of this deficiency disease is that weakening of bones occur, poor development of bones and nervous system takes place, mental retardation takes place, retarded growth means growth of children will not take place, right? And loss of weight means the child will not be able to feel hungry, and if the child is not hungry and he or she will not eat properly, and if they will not eat properly, then obviously they will not get the nutrition what the body needs, right? So if this deficiency occurs, such symptoms can occur, right? So the lack of phosphorus can cause rickets in children. Alright, now let's move on to the next mineral. Yes, iron. Students, the rich sources of iron are cereals, pulses, meat and green leafy vegetables, and the function of iron is that it helps in the formation of hemoglobin and also the red blood cells. The deficiency of vitamins which we discussed above, right? In the same way, iron is a mineral. In the same way, there is one such vitamin because of which anemia occurs. The deficiency disease anemia occurs. Try to recall. Yes, it was vitamin B12, right? It also helps in the formation of red blood cells, and the deficiency disease caused due to vitamin B12 is anemia. In the same way, lack of iron in our body can lead to anemia, because it also helps in the formation of hemoglobin, which is a very important pigment present in our body, and it also helps in the formation of red blood cells, right? So the deficiency disease caused due to the lack of iron is anemia, right? And the symptoms of anemia are pale body color. That means the body, our color of our body will be changed. Then body fatigue, we will feel very tired and weak. Then white color nails, loss of weight, swelling in hands and feet. So such are the symptoms which occur due to the lack of iron in our body. Let's move on to the next next mineral. Yes, iodine. Students, as you know that the rich sources of iodine is fish and the table salt, right? The iodized salt, or the salt which we eat daily, not directly, but we add it in the food. It enhances the flavor of the food. So the function of iodine is it is required for the proper working of the thyroid gland, right? So if iodine is not present in our body, then what will happen? Yes, it will lead to goiter, which is also called as the disorder which occurs in the neck. That is, the swelling of neck takes place, right? Why? Because it is required for the proper working of thyroid gland, and if the thyroid gland is not working properly, then it will lead to the swelling of neck, which is also termed as goiter. So the symptoms of this deficiency disease is enlargement of the thyroid gland, that is swelling takes place, mental retardation takes place, and retarded growth takes place, right? So you can now think that iodine is also very much important and essential for our body. Now let's move on to the next mineral. Yes, sodium and potassium. Students, the rich sources of sodium and potassium are salt and most foods. Most foods means most seafoods. We can say that most of the seafoods and other foods, components of food, are very much essential because they contain sodium and potassium in a trace amount, in small amount. And the function of sodium and potassium in our body is that it helps in maintaining body's water balance. That means the water is balanced by the sodium and potassium, both minerals, right? And if our body is lacking sodium and potassium, then the deficiency disease which can be caused is body and muscle weakness and even paralysis, right? So paralysis is a condition of the body in which half of your body, or we can say that the body cannot function properly. The movement of the body does not take place. We can hear, we can see, but we cannot speak, and the movement of the body will not take place, right? So mainly the functioning of the body can take place, but the movement will not take place, right? So it is a very bad condition of the body. And the symptoms which occur due to this deficiency disease is general weakness and dehydration. Means water loss from our body, right? So students, you can think that sodium and potassium is also very much important for our body. So we should consume such components of food which contain such minerals, right? Now let's move on to the next mineral, students. Yes, magnesium. The rich sources of magnesium are green leafy vegetables, cereals such as wheat, maize, right, etc. Then chicken and fish. So the alternative food for this chicken and fish can be other foods for the vegetarians like sprouts and even soya bean. The function of magnesium is to regulate the functioning of muscles and nerves, and if magnesium is not present in our body, then it can lead to weak muscles and nerves. So this deficiency disease can cause many kind of problems in our body. So the symptoms are loss of appetite, upset stomach, and sleeplessness. Means the person is not able to sleep, and if the person will not sleep or he or she will not take rest, then you know that the proper functioning of the body will not take place if the body is not getting enough rest or enough sleep, and that is why it will lead to many other problems, that is improper functioning of other organs, right? So magnesium is also very much important, right? So we should consume such components of food in our diet, right? Let's move on to the next mineral. Yes, zinc. The rich sources of zinc are peas, beans, peanuts and chicken, and the function of zinc is that it strengthens the immune system, it boosts up our immune system, and it also helps in cell division. That means it will divide the cell in the body and the proper growth will take place in the body, and it is also helpful in healing our wounds. But there is no specific or particular deficiency disease yet to be discussed, right? Because there is no particular deficiency disease which is caused due to the lack of zinc. But the symptoms which occurs due to the lack of zinc in our body is that loss of appetite takes place, retarded growth takes place, anemia takes place, and slow blood clotting takes place, right? So zinc is also very much important, right? Let's move on to the last mineral. Yes, fluorine. The rich sources of fluorine are the seafood and tea. That doesn't mean that you have to drink tea every now and then. That is not so important, but it should contain seafoods or the foods which have salt in it, right? So the function of fluorine is that it makes the teeth stronger, and there is no such particular deficiency disease which is caused due to fluorine. So that is why the symptoms which occur is increase in tooth decay, right? So to prevent tooth decay, fluorine, the components of food which contains fluorine should be consumed, right? I hope you are clear with the deficiency of minerals. Now let's move on to another topic which is very much important, and that is deficiency of water in the body. So students, as you know that water is very much essential for the proper functioning of our body, right? As you know that water is not considered as food, but then too it holds an essential, it holds a very important place, and it is very much essential for our body, right? And the excess loss of water from the body causes dehydration. As we discussed that dehydration is one such condition where loss of water takes place from the body. So water is very much useful. As you know that water is most important in nutrient, and it is most abundant substance in the human body, right? Because water makes up 70 to 75% of the body weight of any average human being, right? And if this loss of water will take place, then it will lead to dehydration. And as you know that dehydration causes loss of salts, and it can also lead to weakness in our body. Means we will feel tiredness and lazy, and fatigueness will happen, right? So to regain this normal condition, to be in the normal condition, we have to take something, we have to consume something, right? If dehydration occurs, then not to worry, oral rehydrating solution, that is known as ORS, called as WHOORS, given by World Health Organization, right? So it can also be given to the patient to recover from dehydration. As you know that ORS is specially designated for children who are dehydrated, and also for other human, others, means other than children, for adults also, right? So it is a special kind of drink which contains the right combination of sugar and salt, and that is why it also helps the intestine to absorb what the body needs, and that is why we can regain the normal condition, we can regain into our normal proper functioning of our body through this solution, right? And it is available free of cost at primary health centers, right? So it is one of the very important solution for the patients who suffer from dehydration, right? And it can also be made at home by mixing 8 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt in just 1 liter of clean drinking water, right? So ORS is also available at health centers, and it can also be made at home, right? So students, I hope that you enjoyed this session and learned about the deficiency disorders, and you must have known about this, that how much important all the food components are for our body, right? Because one or the other component of food contains one or the other important mineral, either mineral or carbohydrate or protein or fat or vitamin in our vitamin, right? That is very much essential for our body, right? So always take care that what you should eat, what you should consume, and what not to consume, right? So we will meet in the next session with a new lesson. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying, and take care of yourselves.